Hello and welcome to round 6 of Grand Prix Charleston. I'm Ben Swartz, joined here in the booth by Marshall Sutcliffe, and we've got quite a match for you guys. Owen Turnwald on the left-hand side of your screen, piloting a Bant control deck, playing against Brian Kibler on the right-hand side of your screen, piloting a green-white humans aggressive deck.
Yeah, two of the better players in the game, really high-level players here, battling against each other, and we see a super quick start from Brian Kibler. He's got an Is it an Ulvenwald Tracker?
Yeah, Ulvenwald Tracker.
Sweet, and an Arbor Elf and a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. The Thalia is a huge card to have against Owen's deck. It's going to put a big slowdown. As you see right here, he's got to play a turn 3 Farseek. That's all he can do, even though he's facing some amount of pressure here. Let's see what Brian can come up with on the next one. Looks like he's played something on end step. It was
Restoration Angel.
A Restoration Angel. All right, so now that's a lot of pressure. He's got 7 power on the board, and I know Brian's deck is capable of putting out some insane stuff. But as the board currently sits, Owen is 1 turn away from being able just to cast a Supreme Verdict and wipe the board. So Brian just says, all right, I'm just going to fight with everything, bring you down to 10. And Owen does have the land. Does he have the Supreme Verdict? This is a big turn here.
Yeah, if he doesn't
I don't see it.
Doesn't have the Supreme Verdict, I'm not sure how he's going to be able to get out of this jam.
He's going to play a Jace, Architect of Thought, and it costs 5 mana here. He is up against a ton of pressure. If Brian has anything that can increase, they can, something like a Wolfear Silverheart, for example, or a Silverblade Paladin.
Looks like Brian does have a Wolfear Silverheart.
And he doesn't have enough mana to cast it currently.
Yeah, if he has a land, then he'd be okay, but...
Yeah. Now, Jace, Architect of Thought, did get plus. So all of Brian's guys are smaller here. So, like the Ulvenwald Tracker and the Arbor Elf, they don't have any power if they attack.
Right.
It does reduce Thalia down to 1 power. And the Restoration Angel would go down to 2. Now, that's pretty... it's actually just insane. Right, I mean, when you look at it, like right now, if Kibler has nothing, he could just attack for 3. But Kibler he does have something.
Has the Wolfear Silverheart. Looks like he's going to pair with Talia. Talia is going to become a 5-power creature and attack Jace. Restoration Angel goes to Owen's head
for 2.
So Owen's going to drop to 8. Jace is going to bite the dust, and Owen still desperately needs. Yeah, Supreme Verdict.
Kibler knows that Owen doesn't have the Supreme Verdict in hand, and he wants to make sure that Jace dies so that he doesn't have the chance to dig for it. Now, we see Owen has just drawn a Thrag Tusk, and he can resolve that. Thalia's ability only affects non-creature spells, so he might just want to play that. I don't know. I mean, right now, Brian Kibler is sitting on 1,000,000 power on the battlefield. All right, looks like
Augur
he's going to dig, and he finds... Well,
Azorius Charm will save him for a tiny
Yeah, it's also
bit.
the second Azorius Charm in his hand. But he doesn't have a land drop, and he just passes the turn. So, Azorius Charm's actually pretty decent here. It means that Brian really can't attack with Thalia. If he has a way to reset his Wolfear Silverheart, he can do that, but even then that's not the best. Now he can. I forgot about Ulvenwald Tracker. That's obviously why he's playing it, and he's going to attack for lethal.
But not exactly, because Owen's got the Azorius Charm, but Faith Shield.
Faith Shield
from
Brian Kibler says, no, sir.
Not today.
Who says green-white can't play counter spells, right?
Kibler takes a quick game 1 over Owen Turnwald. There you see the feature match area. This is round 6 of Grand Prix Charleston.
Wow. That was impressive.
Yeah, it was a quick game.
Yeah, Azorius Charm breaking the bond, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that happened in that game is Owen was unable to draw to Supreme Verdict to be able to wrath Kibler's board. And Kibler noted that because Owen was unable to cast it on turn 4. He realized, he can go all in. If Owen happens to draw to Supreme Verdict, he probably wasn't going to win that game that way anyway.
That's right.
Here's what I got. Can you beat me now?
That's right.
Yes or no?
Plus, Jace was effectively taking 4 power off the battlefield. And, interestingly, the Azorius Charm there would have taken 12 power away from Kibler during his attack step if Owen was able to resolve it.
So players are going to sideboard, and let's take a look at these players' sideboards.
I see one really interesting card on Kibler's side of the table here.
What card is that?
It's the first one right there.
Nevermore?
Nevermore. So I was chatting with Kibler before we started recording, just asking him about his deck and what he thought about it and that kind of thing. And you know, he was telling me about some of the stuff he had in his boarding. He was telling me about the Faith Shield that he has in his main. He's got some pretty sweet ways he can use that card. But he mentioned the Nevermore, and I was like, really? Like Nevermore? He's like, well, it's just one. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, I named Supreme Verdict. You know, he's just like, he already knows. Like, he might as well have just taken a Sharpie and written Supreme Verdict on it, because I don't think he's going to name anything else this weekend. It looks like he has a few ways to cope with the control against a control deck here as well. He's got a Garruk Relentless, or two of them, and two Garruk Primal Hunter. Those are both typically very good versus control decks if you can resolve them.
I mean, also Triumphant Ferocity is pretty powerful against control decks because you can sit there with one or two creatures and start generating card advantage. So if your opponent wants to Wrath and only get a 1-for-1, then you'll be able to still have cards left over and cast more guys and continue to draw cards if you can resolve that Triumph Ferocity.
Yeah, Triumph is an interesting one. From what I've seen, it's like if you can get it, if you can start activating it, it sort of has this snowball effect where you'll be able to keep having enough resources to do it. But if you play it and you've got a board and they Wrath you and you don't have that follow-up, it's just dead. Yeah, so it's this kind of... It's kind of a swingy card. But yeah, Garruk Relentless and Garruk Primal Hunter are generally very good against control decks. Again, you have to resolve them. That's the hard part. But if you do, they just make an endless stream of creatures that even if your opponent has some Wrath effects, you could just recover instantly and on the board.
For Owen in his sideboard, it looks like he's going to be boarding in one Terminus and maybe some Centaur Healers, along with third copy of Restoration Angel. And maybe the Python Needle. I'm not quite sure what he might want to bring it in for the Venerable Tracker, but likely Kibler's going to board that out. So, I mean, Owen's deck was created to be able to deal with the aggressive decks, but now we got a quick look at Reed Duke versus Josh Arter-Layton. Reed's on the left-hand side of your screen, and Josh Arter-Layton, as we saw before, playing in round 4 on the right-hand side of your screen, starts things off with a turn 1 Arbor Elf.
Turn 2.
Or turn 2 Arbor Elf. Reed Duke is going to cast a turn 3 Rest in Peace.
What did you call it? Rest for the Wicked?
There's the 3 cards. There's Rest for the Weary, which gains life with landfall. There's No Rest for the Wicked, which is a card from Portal or something. I can't remember. Rest in Peace, which is this most recent iteration of the Rest in XXX. Turn 3 Loxodon Smiter.
Yep.
For Josh.
He also battled first. Yeah, that Rest in Peace seems like a really good start for Reed.
This is game 2. Not sure who's up, but we're going to move back to the Owen Turnwald versus Kibler match.
If it's game 2, Josh is up a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Josh is up a game, right?
And Kibler has gotten things started with a real fast start. Avacyn's Pilgrim into Arbor Elf and Talia. And Owen is, again, in trouble, unable to cast spells on time as he so wish.
Does Kibler have a land drop? Because it looks like he's got access to a bunch of mana via his creatures. But that also requires tapping them and not attacking. Not a big deal.
Well, he's going to get in with the Arbor Elf. So Owen have an Azorius Charm for that. Does not look like it. And then after combat, he's going to cast a Loxodon Smiter.
Now, Loxodon Smiter cannot be countered, so he can just very confidently slam that on the table. Right through any Dissipates or anything.
Oh, Dissipate he would be unable to cast, but Essence Scatter would be the one that Brian Kibler might be afraid of if you were casting another creature.
Right. Thalia, again, affecting the board at all times.
Yeah, Thalia really important. It's a thorn in Owen's side.
Yeah, now, Brian's still not, looks like he's still not hitting land drops here, but he does have access to the mana he needs. Although
he's got to be careful this turn because now Owen will have access to 5 mana, which, because of Talia, is the amount that he needs to spend to cast Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, it's put him in a fairly bad spot as far as that goes. It looks like Kibler just wants to battle with the 4/4 here. He doesn't want to risk Thalia getting Restoration Angeled.
Yeah, and Owen actually does have a Restoration Angel here. I mean, it could be that he does want Owen to play the Restoration Angel to make the Supreme Verdict worse, but
Man, Owen's got to be miserable here. He's just paid
4 mana to flashback.
7 mana total to net 1 card.
Thragtusk,
though? So Thragtusk, however, doesn't care about Thalia at all and is going to resolve. Now, it looks like Celestia Charm is going to exile him and leave back just the 3/3 beast token.
So
Kibler has attacks definitely with the Smiter. He might even send in Thalia if he has some type of a trick, but he still doesn't have enough mana to activate his Gavany Township, right? 1, 2, 3.
He's 1 mana short.
And he hasn't actually hit a land drop since we've joined here, but
Kibler again has to be a little scared of committing more creatures to the board. If Owen has a Supreme Verdict,
he does have a land now, and he is going to battle.
Okay, well this is good for Kibler because he can activate the Gavany Township and not be really afraid of committing more to the board.
Yeah, and one of the cool things is that it makes it tough for Owen because he doesn't want to block either creature and just lose his beast, and Brian doesn't even have to activate it now. He's got that threat of activation where he can just threaten activating it but not actually do it.
But
is
Kibler does
be a
have
no.
Garruk Relentless.
Garruk Relentless. He's got to pay 5 for it. But again, we were talking about this. Now, Kibler cares significantly less about a Wrath effect.
Yeah, he gets to start creating 2/2s, not homunculuses, but wolves.
It's not a homunculi, yeah.
And
it does set him up though to have to chump block here to keep Garruk alive.
Well, I mean, that's not that bad.
Yep. And he does exactly that. And this is going to be a Thragtusk.
Another Thragtusk.
All right, so Owen says, you want to play creatures? I can do creatures. So we can do that.
It'll be interesting to see how Kibler deals with that Thragtusk if he wants to blow the Garruk on destroying the Thragtusk.
Yeah, just to give him another token, it feels like that can't be the way to go. But
seems like he might be better off chump blocking.
That Tusk is an issue. And that would allow Brian Kibler to keep the pressure up. Maybe if he's got like another one, I don't know. He also can just start Gavany Townshipping, right? Like,
yeah, that might be good.
He would be able to attack the next turn.
Kibler, I assume here is going to block Thragtusk on Smiter and not be very afraid of the Gavany Township.
Owen,
yeah, sorry.
And that would make good sense here. Although it is just sort of climbing the pressure upwards for Owen to find one of his Supreme Verdicts.
Yeah.
He doesn't have one in hand.
Each and every turn that Owen gets is one closer to him taking control of the game.
Yeah, it just feels like he's a Supreme Verdict away. Now, he does have a Sphinx's Revelation, but that is significantly burdened, I think, by Thalia. I mean, it represents a life and a card and a bit more mana for him.
I mean, it's also really important that Owen has gained 10 life off his 2 Thragtusks. I mean, right now he'd be at 9 if it weren't for the life.
I mean, I don't think. Yeah, see, because Owen had a tough decision there. Because if he doesn't block, he does have a Restoration Angel, I believe, in hand, and he'd get value that way. But he decides just to block. So Kibler did not activate his Gavany Township. He's just going to follow up with a Thragtusk. Yeah, that's tap, that's tap, that's under. Okay, there you go. So Kibler,
quite the board.
He's got a very nice board state.
Another Sphinx's Revelation off the top for Owen.
Yep, and I think he's got a Cavernous Soul, so he is going to keep hitting his land drops. See a Jace. But now Kibler surely isn't going to commit anything else to the board, right? He's just going to start Gavany Township and saying, all right, man,
he's committed already too much, I think. Well, maybe not too much, but
he might even trade off his Garruk for one of the beasts.
He's got to be careful because if Owen's plan is to Sphinx's Revelation into something, keeping that Garruk around is pretty important.
Yeah.
In a post-Supreme Verdict world.
Also, Kibler can use even a card like Faith Shield to get through, more damage than he normally would be able to. But
yep.
He's not winning the game this turn, most likely. So
yeah, Owen's still at 17 life.
Yeah, so he's going to have to think through where he wants this game to go.
So Kibler looking over his options here. Going deep into the tank. This is one of the things Kibler excels at, is these creature-on-creature battles, knowing exactly what to do with his green aggressive creature decks. He's been playing these decks for more than a decade. Yeah,
this is definitely his specialty. He is well within his element here. We'll see if Owen's specialty is drawing Supreme Verdicts.
So a wolf gets made. Owen throws some guys into the red zone. Talia, Thragtusk, and a wolf token to be exact. And Owen's looking at that Azorius Charm in his hand. And also the Restoration Angel. Kibler does have access to activate the Gavany Township.
All right, this is going to be a Restoration Angel.
Restoration Angel steps in front of the Talia.
And he doesn't mind trading off a beast for a wolf there, and because that would actually force Kibler to activate his township, thereby basically tapping him out.
But does Owen want to chump block his token onto the Thragtusk?
That is the question.
Nope.
No, he just says, I'll take 6 if you want it. I think Kibler made a wolf pre-combat there so that when he does activate this township...
Yeah, it will get a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, so bring out the dice, because at least at this moment, Kibler's got a ton of creatures here. And remember, those Arbor Elves and Avacyn's Pilgrims, like, those are going to be 3/3s by the next turn if he wants them to be. They're going to be very threatening.
Gavany Township's quite a powerful card.
It really is. It can become the focal point of the game, and it looks to be going in that direction here. The question is, does Owen have enough time to either get a big Sphinx's Revelation going? All right, looks like he's going to Azorius Charm the token. That's going to kill it. And Owen's going to get to keep his token so he can, I don't know, double block Thragtusk next turn or something like that. Kibler's at 25, so I don't know that Owen's in a position that he can turn around things too quickly as far as the beatdowns go, but maybe. All right, so Owen says, all right, take out Garrick with my Restoration Angel. So Garrick down. Play my land for the turn, and he is going to, in fact, pay the 2 life for it. And are we going to see just a huge Sphinx's Revelation on Brian's turn? It looks like it.
Guess so. So for 4, that's huge.
It's for 5, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty big, I
guess. That dude, draw 5 cards.
How many times have you drawn 5 cards?
I mean,
in one.
I've been playing this deck, so a lot.
Yeah.
But before Sphinx's Revelation, not that many. I mean, I play Thought Flare, and I feel like I'm king of the world. You actually get to keep all of these ones.
Not that you really need all of them, but it's nice knowing that you can.
Oh, I need all 5 cards. Just ask me. All right, so Kibler sizing up his attack here. He does have that activation going, and boom.
Sphinx's Revelation, as we said, for 5. Owen draws 5 cards, gains 5 life, goes to 14 life.
And he gets to now plan out what he's going to end up doing on his turn. You know, this is the reason why he's doing it right now isn't, you know, he's tapped out. It's not like he can cast any combat tricks. It's because if he does have the Supreme Verdict or something along those lines, he needs to know that now before he makes his block so he can figure out exactly how he wants to play his combat step.
Another Thragtusk comes down for Kibler.
Kibler goes up to 30, but more importantly has a little bit of insurance. You know, he'll have a 3/3, and then on his turn, if he wants a 4/4 to start attacking Owen again, put him on a 3-turn clock. That's even if he gets Wrath. If he doesn't get Wrath, then or Supreme Verdict, then man, he can really do stuff. All right.
Owen does have a Supreme Verdict and a Terminus in hand.
And a Terminus in hand. All right. So Owen looks to be in the driver's seat here. This is kind of when, you know, when you're in Kibler's side of the table that things start looking pretty downward for you. Like, you're not dead yet. It's not like you can't win the game, but Green-White has a pretty tough time coming up with, you know, really savage comeback plans once they're down to this point.
Yep, so Owen Supreme Verdicts away Kibler's board, leaving him only with the 3/3 Beast token and then goes ahead and plays a Centaur's Healer.
Interestingly, Kibler now doesn't have enough mana actually to activate his Township.
Yeah, he did draw his Sun Petal Grove, so.
Right, so he can. So he does have an attack now, although, ooh, now he's got a good attack. So Silverblade Paladin, you know, that is one of the ways that we were talking, that I was just talking about. One of the ways that this deck can just get a huge punch going is to resolve something like a Silverblade Paladin.
Well, yeah, now, if Owen doesn't block, he takes 6 damage going down to 8.
Yeah, he just got a block here and then Terminus probably.
Yeah,
like,
that's almost definitely what he has to do, which is not.
It looks like he has. Oh no, is that a? It's a Glacial Fortress. I thought it might be an Azorius Charm, but it's not.
I think he's got a Terminus and a Sphinx's Revelation in hand. Owen, that is.
Looks like he took it.
Okay, Owen goes to 8.
I mean, Kibler's at 27. It's not like there's a clock in play here.
Which I guess means Owen is not going to Terminus here.
Yeah, so why do you think he took it there?
I'm not so sure.
He's got to be careful.
Maybe he just wants to Sphinx's Revelation.
Does he have one in his hand?
Yeah, but he's going to cast Jace, Architect of Thought.
He's going to plus Jace, which isn't going to do a whole lot here. Remember, both of Brian Kibler's guys have double strike, and he can use his Gavany Township to just basically blank that effect from Jace.
Maybe he was hoping Kibler would commit something more to the board, but if I were Kibler here, I would just attack and activate Gavany Township.
He's got a Restoration Angel, so he's going to block, and then he's just going to blink it to gain some life. And
I see.
Yeah. All right, so activate
Township, and then Restoration Angel, blink it, go up to 11. Now do you Terminus? Hold off for another turn.
Jeez, I mean, I think you kind of have to. Now he's facing down a 3/3 and a 4/4 double strike, and on Kibler's turn it could be 4/4 and a 5/5 double strike.
So Owen
depends on what he's got in his hand, of course.
Ups Jace and just passes the turn.
He drew a Sphinx's Revelation.
No, he drew Thragtusk.
Oh, he did?
He had the Sphinx's Revelation.
Oh, he did have it. Okay.
But end of turn, he's going to cast Sphinx's Revelation for
100. Yeah.
1, 4, 7, 8.
Yeah. Even though Kibler can put a pretty nice attack in here, although Jace is effectively removing 2 of those counters this turn.
So Kibler attacks in with the Beast token attacking Jace. And Owen will block with his Restoration Angel.
So it's a 3/3 with double strike right now, so it would actually trade for the Restoration Angel. And Kibler says, yep, you made me do it. I had to activate my Township, and sure enough, there it is.
Sphinx's Revelation for 8.
All right, so Owen Turtenwald firmly in the driver's seat at this point. He still has a Wrath effect in hand. Sitting at 19 life, facing down a 2/2 and a 2/4, a 4/4 and a 5/5.
So Owen on his turn after untapping is going to cast Supreme Verdict and
wipe
up
the board.
Jace.
Oh, he's going to up Jace. He could get him up to ultimate range. Is there? I guess there's no reason to minus Jace if he has everything he needs in his hand anyway.
Yeah, another Centaur Healer for Owen.
And it looks like a Thragtusk as well.
Thragfather.
So he just gained 8 more life. He's back to 27. Remember when Owen was facing a potentially lethal attack?
27 all.
Yeah, now we're both at 27 thanks to Thragtusk and Centaur Healer. All right, Silverblade Paladin, ship the turn back. So he plays a 2/2. Not nearly as exciting as the things that Owen could potentially do on his turn.
It seems tough to be able to beat Owen with all of this mana untapped and all those cards in his hand. He had a discard, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Owen attacks in with his creatures. And a Wolfear Avenger.
I like it. That's spicy.
Pair
he says pair him up.
Block your
So it's got double strike, and so he's going to be able to kill one of these creatures. Looks like he goes for the 3/3 Centaur Healer.
This is a 1 of Wolfear Avenger.
Yeah. Had it.
Oh, and it is going to Terminus. Post-combat. Gets a Beast token from the Thrag Tusk. Ups Jace up to 8 ultimate range. And casts Augur of Bolas to get a Think Twice. The second Augur of Bolas to get another Think Twice.
Is he gonna ultimate Jace? Like, is that even a thing? Like, he doesn't have anything sweet to get, right?
I don't think so.
Maybe he just really wants his own Wolfear Silverheart?
I mean, he gets a Wolfear Silverheart and a Thrag Tusk.
I mean, it's not bad value, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Detention Sphere comes down for Owen, allowing him to attack in for 5. Yeah, I don't see how Kibler can win this game. Owen just continually +1ing Jace.
Still doesn't need anything.
When does Kibler enter the scoop phase?
Yeah,
here?
well, you see Owen's actions are crisp and concise, and he's playing quickly, and
you can see Kibler's just waiting to draw a card and see the end of this game. Jace ultimate.
He does ultimate Jace, and Kibler says, I don't want to watch you do all this stuff. Yeah,
so
I like it though.
Owen evens it up at 1 game apiece.
Kind of interesting getting to see Owen ultimate Jace there.
Yeah,
kind of fun. For those of you just joining us, we're in Charleston for the GP here. This is round 6.
We're gonna get a quick look at David Ochoa versus Shahar Shenhar. Shahar on the right.
And it looks like Shahar's on the same deck that we've been seeing quite a bit of here. The Bant Control with Sphinx's Revelation. And on the left, Shahar is playing blue-white.
David is playing blue-white.
Excuse me, yeah, that's what I mean.
Shahar actually spent the week in Milwaukee with Owen at his house.
Oh, he did?
And they tested together for this tournament.
Oh, okay.
Shahar currently lives in Israel, so he didn't want to go all the way back home just to come back.
That's right.
But they were streaming all week from Owen's account, playtesting Standard in preparation for this tournament. This is what this Bant deck is what they came out with.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I've been playing this similar version, and this one is pushed all the way over towards the control side. They don't have any Angels of Serenity in this build, which was a card that was seen play in the other one.
And David Ochoa is on the blue-white tempo deck we've seen a little bit of over the past couple rounds. 18 all is the life score.
Shahar's probably naming Beast.
Yeah, Beast and playing a Thrag Tusk.
Make green. So yeah, Thrag Tusk. Seen a lot of him already this weekend.
He's the least played card in Standard. Or the opposite of that, rather.
Right. Yeah, that card is so good that it's hard to not play it. Like even like control decks, combo decks, aggro decks, they all want that card. Maybe not like a true aggro deck, but even these mid-range, like Kibler's deck is pretty aggressive, and even it wants a Thrag Tusk. A card's kind of broken the mold a bit when you have a fairly aggressive deck like Kibler's facing down really a very controlling deck like Owens, and they're both running a card in common that's not like a instant speed something, a creature in common, I should say.
Looks like the board's gotten swept by a Divine Verdict from Shahar.
I see that there's a rest in peace there for Shahar as well. I think it's one thing about this blue-white flash deck that I think a lot of people don't realize is that it really is a graveyard deck. Like it uses the graveyard a lot more than it might seem like it does on the surface, and a card like Rest in Peace actually just does a lot of work versus it.
Shahar's going to get in with his 3/3 Beast. No blocks from David. David will fall to 15. David does have quite a few spells in his hand. But he's got to cook something up to be able to deal with Shahar's almost full grip. Shahar looking at a couple of counter spells. Believe a Sphinx's Revelation as well.
Snapcaster Mage, no target.
Snap Dad.
He's just going to play it as an attacker. I mean, certainly not ideal for the Ocho here to have to just play 2/1 flash creatures, but...
Sure. End of turn, Sphinx's Revelation for 3. Shahar holding back 1 mana because he knows that David has the Dispel that he got off the Augur of Bolas. But David actually has
two of them. Another one, second one to counter Shahar Shenhar's own Dispel.
Jace.
And that does open the door. Yeah, open the door here for him to resolve a Jace, which is pretty sweet.
But we're going to head back to the Owen Turtenwald versus Brian Kibler match.
All right, Kibler has an ideal turn 2 play with the Thalia. This is his turn 3, and he's going to play an Arbor Elf. And unfortunately, that's all he had, just past the turn back. Augur of Bolas for Owen Turtenwald is playing doing a good job playing defense.
A 3-mana Farseek for Owen.
Yeah, it's just miserable. You hate doing it, but you know that's what Thalia does. Fantastic card.
But it would accelerate Owen to casting a semi-natural turn 4 Supreme Verdict into Talia.
Okay, well now that's a little bit more powerful. All of a sudden, Thalia has 6 power with first strike.
Looks like Owen does have that Supreme Verdict.
It does.
He trades off the Augur of Bolas.
It does certainly seem that. Yeah, if he's chumped with it, yeah.
Or yeah. Yep, Supreme Verdict on 4. Goodbye, Talia. Goodbye, Wolfir Silverheart.
Kibler knew it was coming, and it looks like he's just going to pass it back. That should signal. Oh, he's only got Forest.
Kibler has Yeva in his hand.
Okay,
he's
and there it is
right now.
Yep. So Yeva flashing on the end step, and now Kibler can play
all of his creatures as though they flash.
Why did he play that one right now?
Because Owen was tapped out when he cast the Thragtusk.
Oh, okay. He just wanted to make sure it resolved.
Yeah. He played it at the end of Owen's turn, right? So.
Well, he played it on his main phase.
I know. Owen's main.
Yeah, he tapped out for Yeva on the end of Owen's turn.
Right.
And then on his turn, he played an Arbor Elf.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
No, he was tapped out. I think you were right. Yeah, he can play green creature cards as if they had flash, as long as Yeva's on the table.
Yeva's going to attack in there.
So he paired it up with Wolfir Silverheart, and he battled. Azorius Charm seems likely here, and I do see one in Owen's hand.
Owen wants to make sure that's the right decision. Maybe he wants to just cycle that Azorius Charm and hope to draw another Wrath of God type effect. But nope, put that on top. Does Kibler have a 1-drop he could play? No. And wow, Restoration Angel comes down, flickers the Thragtusk. Owen gets a 3/3 token, gains 5 life. And along with all that, he still has a 3/4 flyer. So Owen untaps and attacks in for 8 points, dropping Kibler down to 7. And passes it back. Kibler knows he's going to draw that Yeva. Needs a little help here. Kibler needs to figure out if that Yeva is going to be good enough for him. It wasn't good enough last turn. He's going to attack him with the Wolfir Silverheart. And before damage gets dealt, play the Yeva to pair with it, so it deals 8 damage to Owen. Dropping Owen to 20 life, and at the end of turn, Owen is going to cast Sphinx's Revelation for 4, going up to 24, drawing 4 cards, and giving himself a turn with quite a few cards in his grip. Quite a few lands I see in his hand, in Owen's hand.
Which is usually a pretty good thing for the control deck. He wants to have access to all those resources, but he does need to be able to do things. All right, so we're going to see an attack here. And only by the Restoration Angel signals that he's not Terminusing, right? This turn?
Well, he could still Terminus so that he gets the 3/3 Wolf token after the Terminus.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. All right.
Instead, he's just going to cast Jace, Architect of Thought, +1 it.
Put him right up to 6. I like it.
Oh, never mind. He's going to -2 it and reveal 2 lands and a Farseek.
So he's going to get a land and a Farseek, or 2 lands.
Yeah, a land and a Farseek. He's going to pay 3 mana. Cast Centaur Healer. Looks like Owen has no plans to Terminus unless things get really out of hand. He has more creatures than Kibler right now.
Yeah, I mean, does Kibler have a way to get guys in him? Kibler's sitting there at 4. Owen Turnwell's at 27. He's totally in the driver's seat.
Yeah. This is sort of the opposite.
Possible Thrag Tusk here. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, is that a Garrick?
Yep, Garrick. Primal
it's
Hunter.
Big Garrick. Garrick, Primal Hunter. And he's just going to crack it right now. It's going to draw 8 cards.
Is that a lot of cards?
It's more than 5 even. That's got to feel good for Kibler, but honestly, how does he get himself out of this bind? Like, he doesn't have a way to catch up from being actually behind on creatures, does he?
Not really.
I mean, his deck is kind of reliant. Is this going to be an Ulvenwald tracker? It is. All right.
So that's the way he does
it. That is stage 1 of getting caught up, but he is really up against it here. I mean,
but Owen's in a precarious place too. He can't Wrath because Kibler has more cards in his hand than Owen does. He can't really profitably attack because of that Wolfir Silverheart. And Owen doesn't have 1-for-1 spot removal. He only has mass removal.
I think you just Wrath here then, right? It doesn't even wipe your board. You get to keep a 3/3 Beast token. Also, well, actually, and plus, Owen has the Angel, right? Can't I just get in for 3 right now?
He definitely can get in for 3.
Yeah, and then he can Wrath if he feels threatened or if he doesn't. I mean, what is Kibler going to do on his turn that is going to be able to get through 27 damage? Like, all he really needs to do is just leave the Angel alive, right? No, I guess not. He is going to Terminus.
Okay.
That seems strange to me.
He gets to keep a 3/3 Beast because of the Thrag Tusk.
Yeah, which is lethal.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an Arbor Elf. That guy dies too.
That goes to the bottom.
No, in the graveyard. There we go. And he also had an Augur of Bolas. But still, I don't know. Kibler does have a million lands in hand, although he doesn't have any white sources naturally. He can make white with a Cavern, but only to cast humans.
Sunpetal Grove, though, produces white.
Yep. All right, make
Arbor
a guy.
Elf. Avacyn's Totem. He doesn't have anything more? Does he have another Yeva or something?
He could have a Yeva or he could have a Restoration Angel.
Sure.
All right, so this actually isn't the worst spot for Kibler. It was looking really, really bad, I thought, but it's in a reasonable position now.
Owen is going to -2.
Jace is kind of a cruel card. Like, it makes you look at the things that are going to, it's like, all right, have your Supreme Verdict. You got me.
Some updates from the floor. Jerry Thompson is 6-0, undefeated. Calcano has 2 losses, 4-2.
What was Jerry playing? We got a chance to see him.
Jerry was playing blue-white.
Yeah.
So Owen here has full grip, deciding between his options what he can do. And looks to cast double Farseek.
A little shortcut there, just do them both at once.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go to time like he did last round.
That's right.
Get a pair of Hallowed Fountains.
All right, so Kibler still sitting at 1.
And
he is going to run the Restoration Angel out there, though.
Okay.
And it does resolve. Doesn't get any value out of it outside of just the creature, but something. Okay, there's a Silverblade Paladin. All right, so he is going to kill Jace.
And a Gavany Township for Kibler is also very important.
Yeah, super important here. So it actually gives him a chance to come back. All right, think twice, flash it back. He drew a Centaur Healer, a Sphinx's Revelation, and a Temple Garden. Yeah, I think that Sphinx's Revelation is just going to really put this thing away for Owen. Right now, Owen is sitting in a pretty sweet position. He just didn't cast anything, meaning that he's definitely setting up to draw a million. So we thought 5 cards was a lot, and then we thought 8 cards was a lot. What is this going to be? This is going to be 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
9, 10. Yeah, is 10 a lot?
Is that a lot of cards?
Is that a lot of cards?
Don't ask a monkey like me, man. I don't. After like 5 or 6, it just gets fuzzy for me.
You didn't eat your banana yet.
I'm saving it.
Kibler knows gotta know what's coming.
Kibler definitely knows what's coming. That is
Uvenwald Tracker, I believe. Oh no, it's Triumph of Ferocity.
Oh, it's Triumph. Okay. Okay.
And now, there we go. Owen draws 10 cards off Sphinx's Revelation, goes up to 37 life. Kibler's sitting at 1 life.
That is insane.
37 life and a million cards in hand.
Did you count out the million, or are you just assuming that? All right, Supreme Verdict. It's going to rewipe the board. Again, you know, we mentioned this earlier about Triumph of Ferocity. This is where Triumph can be a weaker card. And we see a Thrag Tusk.
Yeah, Triumph doesn't really get any value here unless... Yeah.
Now,
there's no other card that Kibler can play besides a Thrag Tusk of his own. Owen just casually chucks, 5 cards in the graveyard, one of which is another Sphinx's Revelation.
Wow. Must be nice.
Don't need him. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah. All right, so locks it on Smiter.
Avacyn's Pilgrim.
And Avacyn's Pilgrim, Restoration Angel, and Brian Kibler extends
the
a hand. Because all Owen needed was anything that could get through that single point of damage, and it turns out 3/4 flying in the air is enough when you draw 10 cards.
Owen wins the match 2-1, advances to 6-0 here at Grand Prix Charleston. There's a look at the future match area. We should be able to get the end of the Shahar Shanhar versus David Ochoa game for you guys. But wow, what a match that was.
That was really good. I mean, I think that played out in a way that is fairly typical, in the sense that Kibler was able to steal the first game using a really quick start, and some main deck disruption in the form of Thalia and Faith Shield, which was pretty sweet.
So here we are at David Ochoa versus Shahar Shanhar. Life totals are getting updated for you guys. But it looks as if a Supreme Verdict is on the stack. Or no, Jace's activation is on the stack, and Shahar's deciding between Supreme Verdict or Land and Augur of Bolas. He'll take the Supreme Verdict. And he'll cast it. There we go. Life totals are there for us, 12-7.
So he's just using it to get rid of the Restoration Angel, which is the only pressure that Ochoa had at the moment.
And we saw this game right around the time Rest in Peace was cast for Shahar. You can see kind of the work that it's been able to do. All of those Snapcaster mages that David has cast have been irrelevant.
What does Shahar have in his hand there?
I'm not sure, but if he's got a counter, he definitely wants to try and counter the Sphinx's Revelation.
No, I didn't mean his hand. I mean in his hands. Is that his graveyard? Or is that Ochoa's exiled zone, I mean?
I'm not sure.
It is.
But Ochoa will cast a gigantic, well, not as gigantic as the past game, but a 6-card/life Sphinx's Revelation.
Is that a lot?
Only 6? Yeah,
I mean, now the bar is 10.
The min buy-in is 10.
Yeah. Like if you don't Sphinx's Revelation for 10, you're just doing it wrong.
Runechanter's Pike for David, and he'll discard a Plains.
And that's exiled again, all because of that Rest in Peace.
But David has no creature to go along with that Runechanter's Pike. Shahar, on the other hand, is able to cast Thrag Tusk.
Is this the same game that we were watching before? Okay. It's similar board state.
Jace has done quite some work here. Shahar just +1ing it in anticipation of -2ing it the following turn. And Shahar draws a Restoration Angel, which is pretty big. Shahar going to use Jace's -2 ability to reveal Thrag Tusk, Supreme Verdict, Nephalia, Drownyard.
Wow. It looks like Shahar is significantly ahead here. Now, I've watched quite a few matches, not a ton, but quite a few with this blue-white deck, and I have to say that it can pull wins out of places that I didn't I was like, wow, I did not think that he was going to win that game, and it can, although this one's looking pretty tough for Ochoa. I mean, he's got to have a grip full of counter spells, and it looks like he does.
But he also has a Snapcaster Mage or two in his hand.
Yeah, that Runechanter's Pike is the saddest little pike ever.
David counting the cards in his library to see how important that Nephalia Drownyard will be. But the obvious split here is to split Supreme Verdict and Nephalia Drownyard versus Thragtusk. And that seems to be what David will do. Shahar
but doesn't that pike still give the guy first strike?
Yeah.
That's all it does. That's sad.
Yeah.
We're in standard here, right? Like 2 to cast, 2 to equip. Creature gets first strike.
It's pretty good in limited.
Even then, that's not good in limited.
You never know.
Oh, I definitely know. Would not play. All right, so Shahar takes another look at the exiled zone of David Ochoa's deck. All of those thanks to the rest in PCC at the bottom of the screen there.
Hallowed Fountain for David Ochoa. End of turn, Shahar is going to use Nephalia Drownyard to mill 3 cards from David's deck, and 3 spells come off the top. A Dissipate, a Thought Scour, and 1 other. Jace, Architect of Thought, +1s. Farsi comes down for Shahar. And Ochoa has seen enough.
Is that right?
He's going to concede the match.
The
game, rather.
It was the Farseek that finally did it?
But Shahar evens the matchup at 1 game apiece. But it looks like there's 59 seconds left in the round. So they might just get a micro game 3, if that.
So why do you think was Ochoa actually dead on board or something, or?
He had like 7 or 8 cards in his library.
Okay.
So all Shahar needed to do was stay alive for 2 more turns to be able to mill him out with Nephalia.
Okay, so he was for sure going to lose that game. So then it became like a situation where he would like to try to get in this 3rd game to actually pick up a match.
Yeah.
But
I think that they're just going to end up drawing anyway. There's no more time left on the round, and they still have to shuffle up for game 3. So they'll get to play. I believe they get to play a 5-turn game 3, and there's no way either of those 2 decks can win. In only 5 turns, you can see the 2 players shaking hands.
Their hands, but that's never. Yeah, you want to get a win or a loss.
Yeah.
It's un-American.
It's not American.
It's un-American.
Un-American?
Ties, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I decided that just now.